Hi everyone, Amazing here. Welcome to my free Excel dashboard tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to create this beautiful and highly dynamic interactive project management dashboard in Excel. It is very simple and easy to be created, so we're going to be walking you through this step by step and how to create this from the scratch. Now if you look at what we have right here, every single time we make a selection of a particular project, so we're going to have this statement right here that says one task was actually cancelled at 40% after over $97,000 had been spent, and this project was cancelled as a result of inappropriate draft. So where this is coming from, if we select our data right here, so we can see every single time we have any cancellation, what we're gonna have is some note that is gonna actually follow alongside with the project that had been cancelled. So going back to this, we can see this heat map right here. So what this heat map does is this: it's going to actually help us to count between two dates. How many tasks do we really have on that particular date we have selected? Now here we go, we have the start date and the end date. Between the start date and the end date, how many projects are within these 2 dates? So going back to the dashboard, so we're gonna hit on this heat map, the full heat map right here. So if you look at my analysis right here, if you want to read the chart, is it we have September 2nd September and to 15 September, so which is from here down to here. How many projects do we have? So we have one project that starts on 2nd of September, and the project ended on 21 of September. So going back to the data set right now, I'm going to actually click on this and hit this and go on this and go for September. So September right now, and I'm gonna go for 2nd September. If I hit OK, what I'm gonna have is this. So I have this 2nd of September and the project ended on 15th of September, which means the same project is here. So now we have another project that started on 4th of September, and it's going to be ending on 7th of September. So if we go back to the data again and actually go here and select this September, go here and select the 4th September, you can see this project is going to actually start on 4th of September and is going to end on 7th of September. So going back to the full heat map, so and that project entered, and we have 2 projects now starting, and this project is going to be stopping at 7th of September, which is starting here and ending here. Can you see that? So once the project ended, is going to actually minus 1 from here, and we have another project that continues, which has not ended, that is still going, but it's going to end right here. And if you look at here, the project ends right here on the 15th. So this is how you can read this, how many projects are within these 2 days. So now we can go ahead and learn how to create this particular kind of chart, and this chart actually helps us to look through our projects and the tasks that follow, how many of those tasks have been cancelled and how many are in progress and how many are completed. This is completed and it's highlighting this in a green color, and the cancelled one is on yes, it's been cancelled, and how many percentage are there on those pending, cancelled, and even the one that had been completed, and the 2 dates, the start date and the end date, and all of that. So we can see, so we can actually click right here to change our year that we have on view. Now can you see that we have few tasks in 2020, and if we go back to 2021, you can see we have many tasks in 2021. So this is how awesome this dashboard could be. So we can actually see we have budget for the data. For every task we have budget. So I'm gonna go ahead and clear here. So before we start building from the scratch, so we're just gonna look at what we're doing and what we're about to deal with right here. So right now I'm gonna select here, and here we go. We have the budget, the expenses, and how much is left, which is the balance. And if we go back to our dashboard, this is what is capturing. Every single project has its own budget, expenses, and balance, and the total budget is 7.7 million, and the expenses is 1.9, while the balance is 5.8 based on my selection right here. So if I release this filter, you're gonna see that things is gonna change differently. So this is how awesome this dashboard could be. Let's see how we can build this from the scratch. So right now, hitting the right workbook, here we go. We have the right workbook right here, so we're just gonna walk straight up to the data and see how we can actually create this. So if you look at the data right now, we have the start date, but the end date is not here, but we have the duration of the project. So what we need to do is just to write Workday International as a function. So we're using the Workday International. It's going to be request for the start date, and the start date is this. I'm going to hit comma, and the day that we're going to complete this particular project, which is how many days will the project last for, is 5 days. And now before that, so we want to actually start this particular project on this very day we are actually creating this dashboard. So I'm going to put -1, and if I hit comma, I'm going to get this as the days or the duration whatsoever. So if I hit comma right now, it's going to ask me if my organization observe weekend and on what days. So my weekend here is going to be 1. The reason why is that in my country we observe weekend on Saturday and Sundays, and if you observe weekend on any of the other days, so you can actually specify that here. Right now in some Arab country they observe weekend on Thursday and Friday, but right here now we're going to select this as the week, as the Sunday and this. So if you want to actually go for holidays, you can actually specify your holidays right here, but we don't want to do that. I just want to have to close this, and here we go. So now it's actually filled itself down because we already have formatted this into an Excel table. So right now if you look at it, we don't have the progress. The progress is actually going to talk about how much is the percentage of the completion of the project. So right now to do that, I'm just going to say equal to the days completed divided by the particular duration. So if I hit enter, there I have it. 40% is this right here. So if I go ahead and say okay, now we've completed this particular project and it's the 5th day and the project is being completed, if I click here, I'm going to have 100%, and this is how this goes. So if we have any consolation, you can come right here and select. If we have consolation, we're going to come here. Here we go. So select consolation 0. It's going to give me yes, this particular project is being cancelled. So we don't want to go by that, so we just want to have 1 right here, and we are done with this particular part of it. So the next we're going to be doing right now is the summary aspect. So I'm going to actually say summary. So summaries, and what the summary is going to actually do right now is just to summarize our data and create most insights from it right now. So I'm just going to actually have to put it on this very nice view. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to my data, and instead of me to actually start creating pivot table, click right here, it's going to give me a lot of trouble. I'm going to show you one trick you can do. So right now select this, and you see we have this table named to our data table. You can name it anything. So go back to summary and come back right here, and I'm going to actually say alt what. So I'm just going to click on, just select this from here, escape. So now it's going to be alt NV. So now our pivot table is here. Very simple, and just type in data table, and if I hit enter, you're going to see that we have our pivot table already here. That is all about it. So we can now drag the columns we want to use to do this. So now the columns we want to have right here are those particular, okay, fine, are those particular column like task or the project, the task right here, the start date, yeah, the task, and the cancel status, yeah, the cancel status, the start date, the end date as well. We want to have the end date. So we want to have the progress. So every single time we select the progress, because we are having figures on the progress, so it's going to actually get itself down to the value areas, but we don't want it down the value area, so we want to have the progress right here. So I'm going to have the progress right here for now. So we rearrange our we arrange the table, so the milestone, and we're going to go for the budget and the expenses. So we have the budget right here, and we have the expenses. Exactly, this is what we need. So right now I think we can actually have this closed, and now this is the time to actually get things done in a nice way. So our table is not really in a nice format. I'm just going to click on design, and from design what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit this particular report layout, and on my report layout I'm going to transfer this into a tabular format, but it's kind of weird more and more. So right now don't be scared of what is going on, so you'll click on this and actually put out the grand total, and now we go to subtotal and say do not show subtotal, and this is exactly what we really wanted. So I want to have this particular gold repeated down to this particular end right here, and this bronze repeated down to this end. So what am I going to do? I'm still going to click on this design and go to report layout and say show all items. Now here we go, nicely done, right? So right now this particular plus and minus signs want to go off, so what we're gonna do is just to say bye bye. Okay, fine. So if we come here, you see our date is being grouped for us from Excel 2016. You're gonna have your date automatically grouped, but we don't want it grouped. We want to ungroup this. Click right here and click on ungroup, and I'm gonna click here and say ungroup to. So now we have a clean table. Alright, so can you see what we have? A clean table. So I'm gonna get a header away from here, so just delete it. Okay, fine, we just have a clean table right now. I'm just gonna click right here at this particular cross line, just double click and you fit this into the right format. Okay, we've gotten this now. This is a nice summary of our table, so we can now start to build the analysis from here. Okay, fine. So the first thing we're going to build is this particular top aspect right here, which is the project status. So we want to show the completed, the progress, the accomplished, and down to the cancel area right here. So how many percentage are there and how many tasks are there and all of that. So let's see how we can actually do that. So going back right here, here we go. So we need to create another, and here we go. Okay, I'm gonna actually zoom to actually make sure you're seeing this very well. So it's very close to your screen right now. And here what I'm gonna actually type here is summary. Should I just put summary? Yeah, let me say summary. And here is gonna be percentage. So right here I'm gonna have my blanks space. Exactly, so blank space, and I'm gonna press format this into a percentage for now. So I'm gonna go for percentage and I'm gonna put it on 0 decimal, and here we go. So right now, first of all, we need to summarize the task. So I can actually highlight this and go to the top level right here and select this color. Okay, fine. So for my total task, I'm gonna say count A. So I'm going to go to my summary sheet right now. Instead of the data, I have it right here for the total. Because I'm using count A, I can count from anywhere. So now it's giving me 41 instead of 40. So that's this as a result of counting the header as part of it. So I'm just going to go back to my calculation. So this is the calculation sheet right here. So I'm just going to go right here and put on my formula bar. So my formula bar is on. So right now I'm going to say -1. So to put the header of -1 will help me to do that. Okay, fine. The second thing now is completed. So how many projects have been completed? How can we do this? To count how many projects have been completed, I'm going to say equal to count if. Count ifs. That is for multiple criteria. So right now, count ifs, I'm going to go for summary, and here is what we're going to reference. That is the progress. So where we have the percentage, and completed is gonna go. So right now I'm actually trying to supply what Excel does not understand, so I'm gonna put that into a quotation mark, and I'm gonna use an ampersand right here. I'm gonna say 1, and it's going to be where. So we're going to actually go for that second criteria, and second criteria is going to be this particular cancel status. If it is cancelled, do not actually count it as part of it. So just count anywhere we don't have any cancellation. That is where we have no. So this $, and I'm gonna say NO. So close this and hit enter. So we have 7 right here. 7 of our project is being completed, because it's actually for this one means 100%, so it's only counting where we have 100%. And if we want to testify if this is really true, we're just going to go to summary, and we hit on this particular percentage level right here, and come here and select okay, yes, deselect this and come and select this alone. So and you come here and go for only the one we have for accomplished. Oh, sorry. Okay, I think I'm cool with this. Right now we just need to highlight here, and what we have is just count of 7. Count of 7 is cool. So what we have exactly here is 7, which means it's very correct. And I'm gonna go back to my summary and actually go and clear filter. Okay, fine, nice one. So right now I'm gonna go back to the calculation and not started. So for project not started, I'm gonna say count if. Just count if with one range, criteria range, and just one criteria. So I'm gonna say summary, and I'm gonna go for this particular range as well. So now, so the ampersand is gonna come between, that is it. So now it's gonna be 0. So what 0 is doing right here is this. So not started is actually gonna be under 0 because it's 0%. It has not been started. There is no any percentage accounted for it yet. And after doing that, I'm gonna say okay. Now, what you're gonna do for me just close and hit enter, and it's just 5 projects that had not been started. So right now we're going to go for in progress. How do we calculate this? So to have this calculated, I'm going to say count ifs, multiple criteria range is what we need now. I'm going to go to summary. I'm going to say okay, from this range right here, and what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to say comma. So what the comma is going to be doing now is this. I'm going to say okay, now for the comma is going to actually help me to actually get to my criteria. And now if I say less than or less than and greater than, which is not equal to, so 0. Can you see that? So now for the criteria range 2 is just going to be the same thing again, and this time around I'm going to say, so this time around I'm going to say comma, I'll explain to you less than 1, and for criteria range 3, before I explain what is going on right here, I'm just going to go for this particular milestone right here, and I'm going to say comma. So something is missing. I'm going to actually have to account for that now. Accomplished. So now hit enter. So I'm just going to have to use my ampersand right here. So that is the ampersand right here. So now what we are trying to do right now is this. So we want to count where we are having less than 100 but it's not equal to 0. Can you get that? So not equal is what we have right here for this less than and greater than at the same time. So we don't want to count anything that has to do with 0, but we want to count something that is between 99 to 1. Now 99, yeah, something from 99, 80 and something like that. So anything that has to do with 100%, do not count it, and only what we want is those one accomplished. So I'm gonna put not here, it's a mistake. So if I hit enter right now, we can now see we are having an error, and the error is coming from here. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is the problem right here. So I'm just gonna take this one away from here, and the one has to be here. Okay, fine. If I hit enter right now, we have 26 projects that is just in progress. So we're gonna go for how many projects do we have remaining right now. So for how many projects we have remaining, it's just gonna be this plus this is gonna give us the total project we have left. So now it's 31 project that has not been actually either completed or started. So right now I want to see how many of those projects are being cancelled. So what we're going to be doing is actually is going to be equal to count if. So the count if is going to be going, I'm going to go to this and actually cancellation status right here. I'm going to hit comma, so the ampersand, and what I'm going to be needing is where we have yes. So if I have close right now, so count anywhere we have yes, which means there is cancellation, and how many are there is just 3, and active remaining now is what we need to account for. So for active remaining, we're going to say this, which is remaining here, minus how many have been cancelled, and this is how many that is actually active, because the cancellation one might not be started again. So what we need to actually have in mind right now, you have 28 projects that had not been started, that if they are started, we're going to have to complete them. But now, how many have been accomplished before time? I'm going to explain to you after we have done this, but for that we're just going to click right here and just copy from here down to here and just make a little track here and see what we need to get. So right now what we just need to do right now is just to remove this notch from here and just have accomplished, and we have just 2 projects start before time. So if I go back to my data right here, and I'm going to go for accomplished, just going to go for accomplished on the data right here. So if you go back to, if I see accomplished right here, so which means those projects have been completed, but there are some projects that had been completed when it is still in progress, which means we have this project to be completed in 7 days, and we were able to have the project completed in 5 days, which means we completed this project at 71%. Now it was accomplished before time. And the same thing to this one, it's how to have been 7 days, and in 2 days we're able to have the project completed, and we mark it as completed right here. So now accomplished, and it was at 29%. That is exactly what we are doing here. So I'm just going to cancel this away from here, so we don't need a filter. So if we go back to a calculation, that is how we got this right now. So for the percentage, it's very simple and easy. Just say this particular 7, we divide it by this 40, and let's see what we have. and that is what we have. So if I go copy it down now, it's weird. Why is it weird? Because if I go ahead and click this, it's looking at this particular 20. We are dividing this by this, which is very wrong. So we need to actually stick to this particular 40 right here. So what we need to do, double click on it and actually have to lock this down absolutely. So hit enter, and this time around you just need to copy down, and it's very correct. So now we're just going to say minus 1 equal to minus 1 minus this particular percentage, and it's going to give us this 83%. So now if we add this together, yes, this plus this, it should give us 100%. So now we're having it. So we are having 100% all true. This is nice. So that's exactly. So this is going to be for our half donut chart. So let me show you what I'm trying to say. Now here we go. We just want to create this type of charts right here. We have. So now let's see how we can actually have to create that. So let's see our recording. Okay, fine. Now here we go. For we to do that kind of chart, so we just have to select here and select insert and go and insert a very nice donut chart right here. So we have inserted this. So what we need to do right now, I'm just going to remove this away from here and have this removed, and just click within here, just double click on it. So once you have double click on it, you just have to move this down to the top level right here so we can see what we're doing rightly. So I'm going to click within here and go to the line, just go to line, oh sorry, border. I'm going to say no border for now, and I'm going to go right here and just make it a little bit smaller. Okay, something like this is cool. So now I can actually select this alone. Make sure you're selecting that alone. Just click right here and make sure you have it on the border is going to be no line, and right here I'm just going to make sure is this, something like this. So right now, because I'm selecting completed, I'm going to leave this on green, so it's not going to show so well. So I'm going to have to put my solid line, and the solid line is going to go on the same green again. So it's going to go on green, and right here is going to be 3.5. So 3.5 is okay. So right now I'm going to make sure I select the outer part. So I'm going to say no fill, and I'm going to say no border as well. So no fill, no border. So select and reselect back again. So no fill and no border. So right now we can actually shrink this and make it small. So this can tell a very nice story on our dashboard. So I'm gonna actually have to move it down to the dashboard level right here, and I make sure it's sitting very nicely at the right place. So make sure you have it formatted the way it should be. So now we have something like this. What I'm gonna do right now is just to duplicate this and have this to the other part of it. So can you see this? Just have this here, duplicate this all through. Okay, now that we've done this, what we're going to be doing now is just to change the percentage we have right here and make sure it's looking at what we have in the progress. Okay, so now I've just done this. What I'm going to be doing now is just to select the one in progress. So in progress is this percentage. I'm just going to say this, and if I hit enter, so this is what I'm going to have. Can you see we have more percentage right here? So I'm going to do the same thing to this one as well. Okay, now here we are. We've just filled it out. So what we need to do right now is just to actually go and change the color. So the first thing we're going to do is just to actually make sure we actually have this highlighted, and come right here and select this particular pointer right here and go right here and change the color you want to have to change in it. So I'm just going to go here and change the color. So we have this nice color. So that's what I'm going to be doing to other part of it. So now we have this pre-formatted. So what we're going to be doing now is actually go to insert, and I'm going to hit on word art right here. I'm going to click right here, and what I'm going to be doing is just for me to get the values right on it. So I'm just going to go for calculation. I'm going to get this 40 as total project we have. So the total task is 40. So I've gotten the 40 right here, and next I'm going to do right now, I'm going to duplicate this 40 and have this here and actually part of this particular aspect of it, so that we can actually go ahead and do it rightful. Okay, now this is done. So I'm just going to highlight this whole aspect of it here. So if I highlight okay, I'm just going to select this. So make sure you're highlighting the values or the percentage inside it. So once the percentage is being highlighted, so the arrow or the cursor is going to turn to cross. Double click on it and make sure you drop this down and just shift it until you're satisfied with what you have. So now release. So once you have it released, just deselect it and actually click on this one right here and just select here and come down to the calculation sheet right here and select how many of the completed project we have, which is 7 tasks have been completed. I'm gonna hit enter. So you don't need to go back to your anymore again. So all you need to change is just have to put this one in E. Just click on this one, and from ELF you're just gonna have it E on E. So ELF E, and do this again. So just from ELF change it to E. That is where you can find it. So that is very simple. As you can see, now we are almost done from here. So what I'm going to do right now is to hit on the summary. So right now we are on the summary. Click anywhere right here and go to analyze, and from analyze just select on slicer and actually go for project. Then we click OK. Okay, fine, we've just gotten this as our slicer, so I'm just going to reduce this and I'm going to actually make sure I shrink it a little bit. So now I can actually go ahead and right click, and if I do that, I'm going to go to slider setting. So we have to get this away from here. The project I wouldn't need it, so I'm going to take it off. So I'm going to say OK, and for now I'm going to cut it away from here down to my dashboard, and here we go. We actually have to paste it right here, and what I'm going to be doing is just to make sure I move it down to this end, sit right here. So now we're just going to do formatting. So I have it pre-formatted already. So if you watch most of my dashboard, I have this right at it. Just hit the subscribe button, subscribe to actually get an opportunity to watch most of my tutorials, then you understand what it is that is going on right here. So now if I click on diamond, you can see everything is just get a filter and how many projects we have. If we have any cancellation, now here we have 20. Now if I go for bronze, you're gonna see, can you see that we know that it's not started? We don't have any, so we have 0, we have 1 cancelled, we have 4 remaining, we have 3 unactive because 1 have been cancelled, only 3 is going to be active to be started. Okay, now we've just done this. So the next thing we're going to be doing right now is to do something about this particular aspect right here, which is the project view table. So I'm just going to click right here and just double click. I'm going to say table view. So table view, I'm just going to go to summary and I'm going to copy away from here down to this end. I'm just going to say copy, and if I go to my table view, so what I'm going to do, just click right here and have it pasted. So just make sure you fit it right, so it's sitting right on it. So now what I'm going to do is just to right click on this and make sure you show the fields list. So now it's showing up. So I'm going to remove my I'm going to remove my budget and my progress. Everything's just going to go up, and the milestone is going to be going away from here as well. So this time around what I have is the expenses should go. I don't want the expenses. Now that is cool. So right now what I'm going to be having right here now is a percentage. Okay, project status. So just have the project status right here, and I'm going to have the that is project status, sorry. Okay, the progress would come, and the progress will always go here, which is not really cool with me. I might cover this. I'm gonna go bring my project down here. So now it's actually on percentage. I think I love it this way. So now we have something like this. So we've gotten this at its best. So right now what we need to do is for you to extract this information right here, and we want to make that on our dashboard. So it's very simple and easy. So the first thing we're going to be doing now is just to actually go to the developer, and once we actually hit the developer, just hit insert and actually go forward, go for this particular scroll bar. So now I'm going to actually be dragging this right here. So I'm cool with this. I'm just going to select here, and right now I'm going to right click on this and make sure I make the setup. So now what we have here is the current value is going to be 0, and the minimum value we need to put it on 1, and because we are having 30 of 30 rows, so we're going to have this one on 31. Oh, sorry, 40. So I'm going to have it on 31, so 9 is left, so we take 9 off it. So right now on a page change, we just want to make it at 5. So now we have to link this to our table here, table view. So I can actually link this to this particular top level right here, and I'm going to say okay. So right now we have this. So if I go on a page change, I think it's going to give me 6 right now. So I think, yeah, for real, it's going to give me 6. So if I actually click on it again, it's going to give me something 11. exactly. So it's working for us. So now we just need to get the values right here, and it's going to be very easy. So I have done this in most of my dashboard before. It's very easy. So what we're going to be doing is going to be for we to use index. So what index is going to be doing is asking for the array, and the array right now is a table, so where we want to actually get something from. So this is the whole table, this is the array. So right now, if it's going to actually extend, so you can actually extend it so that if your data start to grow, you can actually, you know, still have the data accumulated there. So now we can go here and make sure we absolutely lock this down. Your F4 will help you do this dynamically. So now I'm going to say comma, and this time around what it is looking for is actually the row number. So the row number is going to be determined by our scroll, and the same thing I'm going to be doing is just to make sure this doesn't move every single time we actually copy down. So that is cool. That is a very nice thing. So I'm going to hit comma and go back to my dashboard this time around. So back to my dashboard, I'm just going to remove the dashboard. So I'm going to use the plus sign. So now rows, because I want to copy down, and the left side as well. So I'm going to say from this row to this row. Okay, I'm just going to do that again, from this row to this row, which is A19 to A19. So the first A19 is going to be shut down, so we don't want this. Okay, now so what we're going to be doing now, I'm going to have to close this and -1, so comma. So for the column now, we're going to be using columns functions, columns, not columns function, and it's going to be this column, the same column, the same column right here. So now we have it closed, and we have it closed again, the second one. So yeah, we need to shut this down. So now if I hit enter, it's going to give me this value. So it's giving me this kind of value. For what reason? So we want to check it out. Where are we having problems? So we want to see that. Okay, this is where our problem starts from. So we just want to have to remove this particular comma we have right here. So we don't need to have comma right there. So if we have comma, it's actually jumping to column. So we want to have a comma away. So if I hit enter right now, it's giving me gold, and it's very correct. And if I drag to this end, can you see that? Completely. So now I can drag this down. Now here we go, it's nice, but something is weird. So the formatting is off and the header is not there. How can we account for the header? So I'm going to go back to my table view, and I'm going to have to say 1. I show 1, and if I go back to my dashboard, now I'm seeing the header right now. So for the first time, I'm going to make sure the header is not dynamic, because every single time I click, the header disappears. So right now I'm going to actually get to do something about this. Okay, now the header is back. So what I'm going to do now is just for me to copy the header. I'm going to say Ctrl C, and I'm going to right click and actually paste as value. So right now it's no more on any influence of what, of formulas. So if I go right now and make selection, now it's cool. But right now something is still weird again. Before we actually fix that, I'm just going to copy from here, copy this particular kind of format. So go to format painter, and from here I'm going to drop this down. That is nice. So I'm going to copy from here as well. So make sure you format it nicely. Just copy and drop this right here. Okay, nice one. It's fine. So what we're going to be doing now is this. We want to actually, let me just zoom so that you can see it closely. So what we want to do now is this. We need to actually make sure we format this on a date format. Ctrl 1. And what we're going to be doing now is here is the date, and we leave it this way. So the date format is ready. So we can decide to change the end date to something of a very nice color. I don't know what color you feel like you fancy, and we can go for this color and make it bolder. That is the end date right here. So it's your choice of color. So right now what we're going to be doing now is we have pending. We have a pending, we have progress, and we have completed. But before then, let us go for the percentage. So just Ctrl 1 will help you to say percentage, and no extra decimal, just put it on number percentage. I think this is what it is. So right now, as we highlighted it, just go to home and go to conditional formatting. So from conditional formatting, say new rule, and from new rule we're just gonna say okay, use formula to determine what you want, and I'm gonna shift this there to this area. I'm gonna say this equal to 100%. If this is equal to what, 100%. Okay, fine, we don't want to do this for now. I'm just gonna say cancel out, and this is what I want to do. If this is actually 100%, we just don't want to use formula to actually determine what we want. Instead, we just want to use more rows, and we just need to use 3 scale color. And now we just want to have this on a deep red like this, and we need to have something nice like this, and we need to have this on a deep green. So we can click OK. Now can you see that this is the accomplished one? So now we have done this. So now for the cancelled one, how can I just make sure I highlight the one that is being cancelled? It's very simple and easy. Click here and go to more rows, new rows, and we can go for this, and now we can use formula to determine what we want. So I'm going to say if this is equal to, so cancelled or completed, sorry, completed. So now because I'm going to copy this down, I just have to make sure I don't let it to be locked down, else it's not going to work. So I'm just going to go for format, and if it is completed, what I want you to do for me is go here. Completed is going to be on green. Give me green, and for the font you just have to give me something bold, black. So if I hit enter and I hit this, and you can see it's like that. It's really working for me. Now you can see completed and it's 100%. So now the same thing I'm going to do to this one right here. I'm just going to go to the same place and have this, and so new row, and this time around I'm going to shift it to this end. Oh sorry, I selected the wrong one, so I just want to go for cancellation. So I have it selected, I go, and here I go, new row, and I use formula to determine what I really want, and I'm going to say if this is equal to, and it's equal to yes, that means it's being cancelled, and I have to remove this very last $sign right here because I'm going to copy down. So what you're going to be doing for me now is the font should be on white, and it should be bold, and the field color should be very deep red. And if I hit OK and hit OK, now here you see where we have cancellation, which is this particular project right here. The first task is being cancelled, and it was cancelled at 50%. This is exactly what we need to actually accomplish. So, and we've gotten this ready. So the next thing we're going to be doing now is for we to actually create this part of this, which is the heat map. So the heat map is very simple and easy. So I've shown you how the heat map works, and now is about the configuration of the heat map. How do we do that? Now if we go right here right now, we're just going to specify the year 2021, and now we just want to do something like this. So we're going to say 1 2, and it's going to be giving us in days, and when we select we don't see days right here, we just see 1. But if we come right here and write day 1, and it's going to actually show us as a text, but this is showing us a number. So if we want to know if this is a text, I'm going to say is text, and if I say this, it's going to say yes, it's text. But if I go here and say is text, and I want to actually make an inquiry if this is text, it's going to tell me no, it's not a text, so it's going to be false, it's not text. So how did we do this? So now I'm just going to make sure I highlight this and copy this down and show you how I did it. Okay, fine. So I'm going to press Ctrl 1 here, and you see what I've done. So if I go ahead and clear this off and I go by this, now this is what I'm going to have. But if I Ctrl 1 and I just go to my custom, and from here for this general, I'm going to say day, and close it. I put a little space and I have 0 right here, so it's going to start counting from 1, and I have my day and it's a number. So now the next thing I'm going to be having now is the month, which is Jan for January, and I'm going to be copying this one across here. Exactly, this is what we need. So now we've just taken a particular step to get this done. So right now what we're going to be starting with now is this. So we're going to say equal to, and we're going to be using count ifs. We're going to be using count ifs to get this done. So now for the criteria range, so I'm just going to go to my data and say now for the start dates here, so we have to actually make sure we have this, because we're going to be copying this down. So now this is comma, so we want to say less than equal to. So any of this data that is less than or equal to the date we're going to specify it on our heat map, right here. I'm going to say comma. So I'm going to go back to my heat map right here, and I'm going to remove this with the comma and use an ampersand right here. I'm going to show you why I'm using this. So we're going to be using date value to actually get it done. So date value, and date value is asking for the date text. So the date text is the day one, so the first day, and I'm going to be using an ampersand to actually connect this together, to connect the dates together, and the month. So right now using the ampersand. So the next thing is for the year to be connected, and now I can now close. And for that, I'm going to actually have to make sure I do the cell locking appropriately, so that when I copy right, left, and right, it's not going to actually have problems. So totally, I want to lock the year down. So the year is going to be shut down. So now here we go. So what we're trying to do right now, I said between this particular January 1st 2021, how many projects we have right here to the end date. So now to get the end date, I'm going to say comma, and I'm going to go back to my data right here, and I'm going to say shift this one away from here between these dates. So hit comma right now and go back to this particular aspect right here. So I want to say how many of this date is less than, which is this particular end date, is greater than or equal to. Now what we need to do now, we don't need to actually write this, we'll go through the same process again. So all we just got to do is just for we to copy from here, place the cursor, and make sure you highlight from here down to the date value and the and. So just copy it and actually paste it right here and hit on this. So now if I hit enter, I'm having an error somewhere. Okay, less than, I'm gonna actually have to, okay, what we don't have is this quotation mark right here. They are very important, so we just need to have the quotation mark right on it. And if I hit enter right now, it's just like, okay, we've not closed the last bracket. So once we hit enter, we're gonna have 0. And if I have to drag this down, so what I'm gonna have is actually this. Okay, fine, let's see. So we're gonna copy the other side. So now what we need to do is just to copy this across right here. So now that we've copied this across, I'm just going to double click and actually have it down, or I'm just going to select here and make sure I have it down right here. So right now, for we to actually get to see what we've done, so what we need to do is just to give it a conditional formatting to see how everything goes. So I'm just going to go to conditional formatting. I'm going to go right here and select the color scale that I really want. But for that, I'm just going to go and do my own thing myself. So I'm going to go for more. So I'm going to go for 3 color scale. So if you're having it on 0, the lower is going to be on red, and this is going to be on this. Okay, for the one with the highest figure is going to be on green, a very nice green. So now this is what we've gotten. So anywhere we are having task, we're gonna see that. So we have it on green, we have it on green right here, and those tasks are not really much, so we can see the color we are having it on. And where we don't have any task at all, we have it on red. So this is how we do this. I'm gonna actually be doing the same thing that we've done to get this right here and get this one right here in a very snappy way. Okay, right now we've just done this and it's really working fine for us. So we have data just to September, so we're able to show September from January down to September data right here. So right now the next we're going to be doing now is for we to look out to see what we can do to actually have this other part of the dashboard being created. So right now we're going to be creating the chart we have right here. Let's see how we can do that. So we are back to the calculation sheet right here. So under the calculation sheet, this is what we're going to be doing. So we're going to bring a new pivot table right here. So LNV will help us to bring the pivot table once from there. So I'm just going to say data table. So data table, if I hit enter, so it's giving my pivot table, and I'm just going to select duration, days completed, and I'm going to select my duration right here. I need to locate where I have my duration. So I have my duration here. And what I'm going to do now is just to make sure I remove anything that has to do with sum of, and sum of is to be removed. I'm going to say replace all. This is nice. So now what I'm going to do right now is just to copy this away from here and copy, and I'm going to go right here and just say transpose. Okay, I'm going to transpose this So we can use formula to do this. It's not really bad. So transpose that. So if the header changes, it's going to actually change along with it. So that is what we ought to have done, but now we can use this like this. So now I'm just going to say, okay, now we just want to format this one into percentage. So I'm just going to say percentage, and I'm going to say 0 decimal. And what it is this, I want to say this particular completed divided by what, by our duration. So it's going to give us the percentage. Oh sorry, I have to here, so that's taking one away. So right now for the duration, now that is exactly what it is for the duration. Now so for the duration, I'm just going to type in here this left. So now this left now is going to be my it's going to be 1 minus this. So now it's 55% right here. So what we need to do is just to insert a chart using this particular one. So I'm just going to insert a chart, and the chart is going to be this type of chart. Okay, nicely, this type of chart right here, and I'm going to take this one off. I don't need it, so I'm just going to make it some kind of smaller. So as where I'm going to be putting this is has kind of limited space. So I'm going to take this to the top level. So the legend, the grid line is going to be turned off. I don't need it. So we just need to take the legend to the top level. So the top. Oh, sorry for that. So now, so we have moved our table right here. So what we need to do right now is just to format the color of this particular table. I'm just going to click right on this particular aspect here, so to have my color being changed. So now I can now double click on this to have the color manually changed to something I really prefer. I think I'm going to be preferring something like this. Okay, nice color. Okay, I'm gonna be going with this particular color right here. So right now you'll see that the filter might not be really effective right on this one now. So we need to actually go and adjust it. So go to the calculation and click on this particular pivot table we have created, and go to analyze, and we can always connect our filter to it. So we just have the filter connected right now, and you're gonna see it's gonna change. So now it has changed. So that is exactly what we need to do to have that particular aspect done. So now for the next one, it's gonna be this particular chart right here. That is a project financial progress. So how do we do that? So for the project financial project, we are trying to show the project, which is this particular 5 projects, and the budget we have for every single project, and the expenses, then the balance, how much we spent on each project and all that. So now to do that right now, this is what we're gonna do. So we're gonna hit on the right. Okay, here we go on the right work, and I'm gonna go to calculation. So I don't need to actually create this over and over again. I can actually copy from here. Just copy and come right here and drop this down here. So now we've just gotten that done. So what I'm going to be doing now is just for me to actually remove this. I'm going to remove this as well. So I'm going to have my project here. So after getting my project right there, I'm going to go for budget, then the expenses and the balance. So now I want to remove anything that has to do with filter away from it. So I'm just going to go to filter and just select filter. I don't want filter to be placed on this right now. So now filter, and I have to clear the filter away from here. I think I have it just now. So I'm going to actually be having this one just like this. So now what I'm going to do now, I have to close this away. So for this is showing rollable. So I have to click here and go to report layout and show in tabular form. So now it's now showing the project. So for the sum of to be getting off, so just Control H will help you get this, and just replace the sum of with nothing. So replace, and this time around we're just getting it like this, and this is cool, right? So the next thing we're going to be doing now is for you to actually format this nicely, and I'm going to actually get to move. I'm just going to copy this away from here. So I'm going to copy this away from here, and I'm going to drop this down right here, but I'm going to copy it as a link. So it's linked to this, so that if the data changes, it's going to actually have to affect this. So look at this. If I have this selected, can you see that it's actually showing me that okay, it's looking up to this. So right now I can actually scroll down, and I'm going to have this on dollar signs, depends on the currency you're using in your country. So just go right here and put it on dollar and not extra decimal, and if I hit OK, this is what I have. So right now I've gotten this, and the grand total is going to be turned off. I don't really want it. It's either I turn it off or you just delete this away from here and all that. So because I'm going to be having to show this on the chart. Okay, we've just gotten this one done right here. So right now it's for to take a snapshot of what we really want. First of all, we have to select the header and make sure we give it a very nice color, and I'm going to go with this color, and for the text I'm going to go with white, and I'm going to go with bold on this. So that is cool. So right now I'm going to select right here and give it the black color. So the background here is going to be black, and this is the black I really want for it, and it's going to be on white and bold. So now we have to reduce this. I'm just going to click on this one right here and have it reduced, something nicely like this. So now what we need to do now is this. So for our expenses, I can actually go ahead and say go to conditional formatting, and I'm gonna have to go with this, and we go with something like this. Either of it could go. I think I'm gonna go with something like this. Then for the budget, where we have the highest budget, we can actually try to show this with something different. Select here and go with the budget. So just go with any of the arrow right here. So we are having the highest budget on gold, and the balance. Now we can actually do this by going here and select the conditional formatting, and which is what we want to use to show the balance. We don't want to use color scale. This color scale is not going to be too fine on this, so we can always feel like using this. So we have the highest balance right there as well. So now this is good. So we can just go and select. Once we select, we can actually go here, go to speak cell, and I have my camera right here. So the camera tool is there. Just drop it down, and here we go. We take a snapshot of what we want. So now it's always like this, but we don't really feel like we are cool with what we have right here. So now this is it, because it's actually on top of itself, so it's actually always going to show us. So now here is what we have right here. So we're not really too cool with it, because if we take this to a dashboard, I'm going to copy this. It's too big compared to what we should have right here. So I'm just going to drop this right here. So now it's weird. So now I'm going to go right here and go back to my table view or calculation, and once we get to the calculation, I just have to delete this away, and for now I'm just going to copy a fresh content. So go to speak cell and take the camera and go to where you want to have to drop it, so which is the dashboard right here, and just click here and you have it. So now you have it. So it's really too huge. So what I'm going to be doing now is just to make sure I format it to what I want. Okay, we have just adjusted it to stitch right, but if we look at it right now, we have some border on it, so we don't want the border, so we can just right click and go to what format, this format level. So right here I'm going to click right here and go to border, no border, and I'm going to click on fill. I'm going to say no fill to it as well. So if I actually deselect from here right now, what I'm going to say is the border is just gone. So now I'm having something like this right here. So now it's showing us the budget for every single project, and it's showing us the expenses and how much is left as balance and stuff like that. So right now we have a chart right here that shows us something very interesting that we really want to see. So let's go on this and actually take a view of that. So right now it's showing us the budget, the expenses, and this. So right now this is what we need to get right here. So I'm just going to click on this and go to my calculation sheet, and just going to copy this away from here. Just copy, and instead of we doing the same thing over and over again, I'm going to have to place this right here. This time around, what I'm going to do is right click and show the fields list. So we have to remove projects, and this is exactly what we need to have. And I'm gonna actually have to insert a chart I really want to insert. Is this time around I'm gonna insert so I'm gonna insert a pie chart. So a pie chart, something like this, is really cool. Okay, so we can go by this, and we are good to go. So I'm gonna remove this away from here. I don't need it, and I'm gonna be taking this grid line off. So for the value right here, I'm just going to take it off. I don't need any of this value. So right now I can actually have my data label on top of it. So I'm going to make it small, make sure it's small. So, and this time around I'm going to have to actually format it into something I really love. Just go to dollar, and click on currency and take extra decimal off it. So nicely we have something like this. So we can always make it small to sit right where we want it to sit. But if you look at it, it's kind of weird, right? Let's see what happens. So let me have this closed. So okay, nicely. So now I'm just going to highlight the whole step right here. I'm just going to say Control 1, and now I'm going to go to custom, and under this custom I have this formatted already. So you just need to actually know how to write this particular formatting, and once you actually hit enter, so we have this. So right now, can we see this? It has turned into what we really want. So we can do it by dividing by some like number, and we still have this. So there are so many ways to have this done. So right now I can actually cut this away from here and take it to my dashboard, and here we go. Voila. Okay, fine. We just need to do some little adjustment right here. So what is the adjustment we have to do? Okay, sorry for that. I'm just gonna go double click on it, and we have this. I'm gonna shift it to this area. I'm gonna say no fill, and I'm gonna say no border. So right now I'm gonna drag this down. Yeah, drag it down a little bit. So this time around I have this drag to this end, and what we can see now is this. It's some kind of weird. So why don't we change this so into white so we can see it better. So I'm going to change this into white as well. So I think I have to do it individually. So change this into white, and we can make it bolder than the other ones. So now exactly we have something very nice as this. So we just have one step to go, and the step we have to go is actually this particular step we have right here. So let me just take a look at what we have right here. So right now every single time we make a selection of any of this right here, we can see we have, if there's any project that is being cancelled, we have the project being cancelled and why the project had been cancelled. We have it right here, all of that. So let's see how we can actually do this. So we need to enter a new sheet for this. So this new sheet had been entered. So I'm just gonna say no. Okay, this is the new sheet. I'm gonna say notes. So now I need to actually get my pivot table right here. NV will help me to do that, and I'm gonna say data table. So what we need to have right now is a project. So we have cancel status. So we have cancel status, and we're gonna have what? We're gonna have note on it. So we have note. So what I need to do is just what we've done previously. I'm just gonna go right here on this particular aspect. So I'm just gonna say on the tabular form, and for this particular one, turn it off. For grand total, I'm just going to turn grand total off. Exactly, this is what we need. And for the plus sign, I'm just going to go to analyze and have it removed. So this is what we have. So right now we need to be writing function that's going to actually help us to pull data away from here every single time we have any cancellation, and to ignore any of the blanks we have. So right now we have yes here because we want to actually use this yes to have a lookup right here. But before then, what we're going to be having right here is this. I'm going to say count A. Yeah, count A is going to actually help me to count how many projects we're having right here. I'm just going to select and select beyond that in case our project start accumulating and we're going to be having more projects. So now I'm just going to have these 5 projects. So what I'm going to be having now is this equal to, if this is equal to 1, and this is equal to 1, so I want to give me what we have right here. So else just give me blank. So now it's giving me blank because it's not equal to 1. So right now I'm just going to make sure this one is responding to filter. I just have to go to filter, and I have this, and voila, we have this. So right now we just want to check. Now it's equal to 1, so it's giving us medal right here. And now that it's giving us medal, let us look at the second thing we have to do to get something very nice done right here. So after you might have just done this, you can use VLOOKUP to actually fetch where we have diamond, and the result is actually yes. So we just need to actually get this done. So when we have that, so right now let me just show you the complete version right here, then we can wrap this up. Okay, now we can see we have yes right here, and it's giving us bronze. So we say if is equal to 1, so it should give us the what it is. And now what we need is just yes, and once we have yes here, we just want to use that yes. Can you see that? So this yes, what it's looking for is this: if this is equal to this, which is if this is equal to yes we have right here. So I want to do VLOOKUP from here down to the calculation sheet right here. So the calculation sheet is this, or the summary sheet, which is this particular, sorry for that, go for the calculation sheet. So this is the calculation sheet right here. So here's the calculation sheet. So we want to do VLOOKUP to actually pull the data, either for the expenses or for the percentage that we want to pull right here. So we want to actually pull it away from here. That's exactly what it is that we are doing right here. So it's only the data is going to pick is actually those one that is in here. So you can read through this. It's not really hard, so you will definitely understand what it is. So if you're having difficulty right here, so let me know how to fix this for you and make sure I explain better to you how this is done. So we're trying to actually get the percentage when the particular task was being cancelled, and the percentage of how much is being spent before the project was being cancelled and stuff like that. So now we still have more data to go right here, and this is working for when we actually go to the dashboard right now. If we make a change, so we're gonna see we don't see most of this. So now you can see most of them disappeared. They are still here, but they disappeared, and this is the one that is showing up right now. So it depends on what we have selected. So in most of my tutorials, I've actually taught how to do this, so you can actually go ahead and actually take advantage of how to get this done. So if it is the first time being here, all you have to do is to hit the subscribe button and be among my subscribers to have my new dashboard every single time I have a new upload. So I want to say thank you very much for watching. Let me know what your thought is, and if you have any problem, I'm just gonna actually have to help you out to see how we can actually solve things out. So thanks for watching.